Super. So final company for today. Super exciting company. So we have Socrates joining us to present Numan. The floor is yours.
Thanks for having me again. It's 9 months since the last one. So I'm actually glad to be back here today because I said we're going to do 3 things when I was here in September, and we're well on track doing all 3 of them. So for those of you who were not here in Paris in September, we had set a goal of being profitable by the end of 2023, moving towards cash generation in 2024, and then winning the GLP-1 opportunity that was emerging in the European and global markets. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of those 3 things today, but let's start by focusing again on what drives us at Numan, what the mission is, what everybody shows up to work at every single day. And that is to help you maximize life, to use technology to help you lead a healthier, happier, longer life, and to do that at scale. And that mission has been there from day one, and now almost 6 years in actually since founding the business, we're starting to see that really coming to life. So before we speak about what we do and how we do it, I just want to kind of zoom out a little bit and recap what's happening with patients. So we're seeing a real transformation in men's health and health in general. So the stereotype is true. This is what we can all recognize. Men typically do struggle to care about their health. 1 in 2 men is overweight. 1 in 3 men above the age of 30 will have some issue with their hormonal health. 1 in 3 men will suffer from some sort of sexual dysfunction, and about half of men are suffering from hair loss. Typically, we don't engage with the healthcare system as much as we should. We go to the doctor less, we take prevention less seriously as we should, and as a result, we die younger, about 5 years less than women. But crucially, we spend a large part of our lives in suboptimal health. Prevalence of diabetes and other diseases that really reduce quality of life are more prevalent in men, and they shouldn't be. There's no biological actually reason that drives that. A lot of it has to do with behavior. But that behavior is changing. And what we see is these 4 mega trends that are really shaking men from their inertia. On one hand, we're all now a lot more aware and interested in our health. We understand and we talk about longevity a lot more than we used to. These are some of the things that I was into when I was starting the business and when I was thinking about the business about 12 years ago. You really starting to see now in the mainstream. We start to understand and measure our health and taking action based on that data. We're talking about Brian Johnson. Pretty much every dinner that I talk about now, there will be a conversation about Brian Johnson. And we also look at role models that espouse behaviors that were unthinkable even 5 years ago. There have been a number of catalysts around that, but what that means is that we now have, on a global scale, these new cohorts that are coming to market and they're seeking care. When we survey men, we ask them a bunch of questions, and we also ask them how interested and concerned and aware you are about your physical health. And that number in the last 3 years has doubled, and it's reached 67%, which I found surprising, actually. I was not expecting the shift to be that drastic. A lot of it we can attribute it to COVID. A lot of it we can attribute it to these kind of trends that I was talking about before. We're not exactly sure why, but men in general now are more interested in their health in increasing numbers. And crucially, they also start displaying behaviors that are healthier. We drink less and we smoke less. So that means there's kind of this changing awareness, this changing appetite, this changing propensity to engage. And also, for us, really interestingly, people are prepared to pay for that. The majority of men will pay for specialist care, and the market in the UK, what's called the self-pay market, has been growing at 9% CAGR over the last 4 years, reaching 43 billion in the UK alone. Men also typically value convenience and discretion, and are early adopters of things like telemedicine, which means that this was the ideal place for us to start the business. But things changed even further over the last couple of years. And the big driver has been the increased awareness, but also action against obesity. Now, obesity, I believe, we all understand that it's bad for our health, but I think we fail to appreciate exactly how devastating it is. Obesity is linked to a number of comorbidities. It is linked to 10 different types of cancer. It is costing the UK economy about 100 billion a year alone. And we're now on track to add another 4.5 billion people to the world's population by 2035. It's a tragedy, and it's a tragedy that has downstream devastating effects again on that quality of life that we've been talking about. The UK, where Numan is based, is the proud gold medal winner when it comes to obesity, and a population that is either obese or overweight at the rate of 70%. So this is an epidemic. It demands urgent action. It's something that we were effectively fighting a losing battle, but then we have a new weapon in the fight against obesity, and that is the arrival of those drugs called anti-obesity medication, GLP-1s. The names that you may recognize are things like Wegovy, Mounjaro, or Ozempic. These are drugs that for the first time represent a reliable way for you to actually control and lose weight. They're drugs that are administered once a week in the form of injection. They're drugs that predictably produce 15 to 20% of weight loss within 6 months for most patients. But despite of the numbers and the demand that you see there and the market opportunity that they create, which is estimated to be 100 billion by 2030, they really shift the mindset and behaviors and what is accepted when it comes to being obese. So now we recognize obesity as a disease. We talk about people that have obesity. And we not only, are, if you like, invited or allowed, we are encouraged to do something about it in a way that uses medication and doesn't solely rely on behavioral change. And we're now in a position to lead in this category. It's something we've been investing a lot over the last couple of years, and I'm going to show you what the impact of that has been. So to recap, when you think about what we're building and why and when, most importantly, we see this kind of convergence of 3 key factors: the increased demand that is generated by the prevalence of chronic conditions, the digitalization of the health infrastructure and regulation, but also most crucially, these new behaviors and new demands that we're seeing when it comes to patients and customers. And that creates that optimal timing for us to be building the business that we're building. So this is the context of the patient and the market. I'll walk you through a little bit what we do in case you're not familiar with Numan. So effectively, we take a model that has been designed for population. It's designed to create health outcomes at the population level. It is designed with you as a patient being, if you like, at the end of that process. It is a system that is full of friction and cost, whether you are using a public health ecosystem or private health system. In the UK, the NHS used to be the pride of England. It is one of the world's most pioneering health systems, completely free for everyone, genuinely world class when it comes to things that can save your life. But satisfaction in the NHS has gone from 70% in about 2013 to 20% when it was measured last year. And that is quite a precipitous drop. And it is not only the result of chronic underinvestment, which is the easy factor to zero in on, which is, of course, a reason, but it is also because of that changing nature of expectations that is completely failing to meet. So we take that model and we flip it in its head. We put you at the center and then wrap everything else around you. And we're designing an experience and a proposition that is designed to maximize your health outcomes, not the population's. What that looks like in practice, it's this integrated patient experience. With Numan, you can experience and engage in education. You can actually go and do your own diagnostic with us and with a set of partners that we use. You can speak to one of our clinical professionals. We will deliver the medication to you on a regular basis, and we'll also onboard you on a platform that is there to provide you the tools, the content, the support, and most recently, the coaching to make you healthier. The business is a mixture between a healthcare provider. We're a fully registered healthcare provider in the UK. We operate our own pharmacy. We manufacture now our own line of generic medication and supplements, and we distribute that directly through our own channels, but also through partner channels now as well. So we're fully vertically integrated. We work with and are regulated by a number of different regulators in the UK, and we're experts at doing that at scale. So that capability, we bring it to life when it comes to touching a man's life across the entire, from their early, typically late 20s, early 30s, all the way to their 60s and 70s. And we have patients who we help with for a number of conditions, whether it is the sexual function, their aesthetics, their hormonal health, and their obesity. We do that because we have their trust, we have their data, we have the ability to provide a holistic care experience, and we can also, of course, have a commercial and customer experience with them as well. What powers this is what we call the Numan Unified Health Platform. It is a system that goes through this entire wheel, and of course we do also have a flywheel as well. I didn't know it was part of the brief, but we have it because it's true. So this is what we've been building and what we've been investing in for the last 5 years. Everything that has to do with your data, the education we provide, the products we can deliver to you, whether that is generic medication, a supplement, or any other kind of product that can help you get healthier. We deliver care that can be both telehealth and coaching. All of that through our own pharmacy and our own clinical management system, and those capabilities we built and also acquired in 2021. We optimize fulfillment, I was saying, across different channels. Recently, we acquired our own WDA, which is that license that enables us to have those products made for us. And we'll also connect with a range of diagnostic labs that can help you understand where you are right now, but also help you be put on a different path around prevention. And of course, all of that is amplified and brought to life with our brand, which is a category leading brand in the UK. It's the other part of the business we've heavily invested in besides just, marketing spend. So the flywheel at the core of the business is one that spins faster as we grow. The more patients we have, the more data we collect, the better health outcomes we can produce, the stronger the claims we can make, and the faster we can make that flywheel spinning. The other lens to see this is the foundation that we have now built for the business. We have a foundation that can let us scale across therapeutic areas. We see huge growth opportunities in areas of health that are focused on men and women as well. We can go deeper in the services that we can provide to you. And of course, we can go deeper and change the relationship that we have with you as a patient. So you can see Numan becoming a much more integrated core part of the extended health ecosystem, one that can deliver superior patient experience, superior health outcomes, and do that at a much more accessible, affordable price point as well. So this is what the business does and how we do it. Now I want to talk a little bit about the business and how it's been changing from a numbers perspective. As I was saying, when I was here in September, we had that goal of being profitable in December 2023, and then of course stay profitable after that. We did do that. We've now served, since launching, about 500,000 patients in the UK alone. Most of them women, most of them kind of for the areas that I was talking about at the beginning. This year we will serve 200,000 patients. The LTV to CAC has completely been transformed, and that number here is out of date. It is now above 4. We've been growing at 100% year-on-year run rate since the beginning of this year. And we're now also, of course, with a stable EBITDA positive base where we can use to grow. We go to this point by investing heavily in the brand, in the technology, in the capabilities of the business, both from a physical infrastructure, from a compliance framework, and of course the people within the team. We have been through a transformation, and now we see from here on a very, very different path to growth and scale. If I can take you through some of the core, if you like, levers that are driving the business, this is what we're extremely proud. We've been able to scale revenue while at the same time reducing and stabilizing CAC. and crucially accelerating the time that it takes for somebody, for the cost of acquiring a patient to be paid back into the business and fueled back again into growth. Again, remember the last funding round that we had done is in 2021. We've introduced additional capital into the business since then, but this has been the outcome of superior product performance, patient experience, and commercial outcomes as well. The last factor here, the payback and how that's accelerating, has been the engine behind the business. So you see how much we've dropped that cost of acquisition. Again, this is of course shifting strategy and going through a different phase of growth, but that investment that we made in the brand early on, that did pay back. Those additional channels that we found, those did prove to be effective, but also all the work that we continue to do on the product. We're now in a great position where we have reached that profitability, but also we're managing to scale the business to a very different place right now. This year, we've been rewriting the plan as we've been going along for the better, which is, we've been pretty good at predicting where we're going to be. This year, we've been a little bit off, but we're revising out and we keep raising the bar and the team keeps responding. And if you look at the high level core numbers of the business, you will see how revenue has been increasing, how the revenue per patient has also been growing. The contribution margin after marketing, that was typically, of course, negative when we started. We pushed very much to get it to positive in 2023, and now we see it scaling. But crucially, the one number that gives me the most confidence for the business is the revenue now that we retain from the years before. So that was 56% in 2023. That's revenue from 22 to 23. In 24, it will be closer to 65, and we see it accelerating from here on. So when you put all that together, we are working on an aggressive growth plan for the business, a plan that sees us growing by about almost 70% CAGR between now and 2028. It's also what makes us all, excited about the years ahead of us. It's a plan that is predominantly based on things that we know, things that we've been executing extremely well over the last 5 years and over the last couple of years, and that is men's health. It is the opportunity around obesity. It's of course expanding into female health. And by the way, we are a men's health business, but we serve thousands of female patients as well when it comes to a diagnostic product, a supplement, an OTC hair product, but also when it comes to our obesity proposition. So now from here on, the transformation that we've been going through is going back to that original vision. We're now at a point where we've built that unified health platform in the UK. We've built the leading men's health brand in the UK. And we gotten to this point by primarily, helping men solve problems in areas of health that are stigmatized and underserved. But the direction of travel that we go into is for Numan and the Numan potentially additional brands to create this integrated, unified health ecosystem, to become a global authority in virtual care. We're writing the playbook in a lot of these things. We know, I'm not the one that has thought that you need to actually figure out ways to help people with medication, but also help them change their behavior as well. This is the best practice. People have been talking about all those things for years. It takes a company like us to be able to put that in practice, and company that again own that data and that patient journey end to end. So this is what we're doing. We're proving that it generates superior results. And now it's for us to actually generate the proper medical grade, clinical grade proof points, to publish those, to expand the proposition in breadth and in depth, and become that holistic health partner for you for life. That's the North Star for the business. And that North Star is to build that global winner in health, a company that changes the lives of millions for the better, a company that is there for you every single day and stays with you for decades. And we now see those people, how they interact and use us multiple times a week when it comes to our digital products. A business that has positive impact for millions and tens of millions globally, and a business that we're all excited to build. This is what motivates the team to show up at work every single day. And again, what's for me really exciting is that work that we've done in the last 5 years, how it has put us in a position where at the perfect point to actually capitalize on transformational opportunities that we see in front of us, going through that inflection point and being in a leading position with a fantastic opportunity to win. So thank you, VNV, for the support from day one and from having me again here today.
Do a short Q&A as well, so please, before we take some questions from the audience. I mean, very successful last year. One of the main drivers have been the weight loss GLP-1 based drugs, which was, I don't think anyone has not noticed it with Novo Nordisk exploding on the cap table. Could you talk a little bit about that demand you've seen? I mean, there's been some supply constraint as you have Novo and Eli Lilly today in the market, but I guess all of the big pharma companies are coming with similar compounds. Yeah. So how have you seen that demand, like specifically for Numan, and then in the more general context, where do you think it's going when supply opens up?
Sure. So the demand has been unprecedented, and the demand has been surprising for everybody in the industry. I was, when we first started looking at this, which was 2 years ago now, actually more than 2 years ago, one of the big skepticisms that I had was, would people be prepared to just have an injection delivered to them that contains this endocrine disruptor that will actually affect their appetite and just go ahead and inject themselves? And it turns out people are completely prepared to do this, right? The other thing here that is, there's been a lot of press, a lot of kind of noise around the category. The average BMI that people have that when they come to Numan is 33, which is well into obesity territory, right? So this is, I was speaking to somebody the other day who said this is a cosmetic thing. It is not a cosmetic thing. We're talking about patients, and we're talking a massive burden to the national health system, but also a massive burden to those patients' day-to-day lives. So the problem is so massive that we were all caught unawares of how exactly, people would react. And also keep in mind that innovation and how it changes things, and when, it takes these phase shifts and all of a sudden you are from one world to a different world. These medications are not new. The difference is that up until a few years ago, you had a product that you needed to use daily, which of course was a suboptimal patient experience, and it made it cost more. It used to cost about £350 a month. The moment the price point came to about 200 or below, and the experience became from daily to weekly, demand absolutely exploded. So demand, we don't see any sign of it abating. And by the way, we of course all know right now we're in the early phases, right? So there will be some normalization. We're really beginning to understand the long-term usage also of these products and how they should be used. So you will see a huge body of patients that are being onboarding right now that will continue, but also you will see a huge number of people that still haven't had a chance to engage properly in this category. Crucially, I should mention here that we don't offer just the medication. The medication was never designed to be just a drug that you take on its own. We provide a fully holistic weight management and obesity treatment program. It includes the medication. It includes a doctor consultation that's optional. It offers you a diagnostic product, again, that is optional. It onboards you on a dedicated mobile app that has content, tools, and coaching. And we see the people that go through that experience, not necessarily the diagnostic, but engage with the app and the coaching, which is a huge percentage of those patients, get better results in the short term and also get better results in the long term. So we're figuring out exactly what the future will look like. I believe the companies that will emerge at scale from here are the ones that figure out how can you actually provide that behavioral support experience and use technology to do a lot of the heavy lifting, that do find ways also that can scale clinically. And the companies that are close to people like Novo and Lilly and good partners to them.
Thank you. Yeah, just a follow-up there. I mean, given, as you say, it's very important that you actually adhere to the protocol to avoid, serious side effects and such. So digital platforms like Numan should have a very, very strong position in taking this and helping patients. Have you seen, competition trying to come in, and how is that, or is it still very early? I mean, you're just in the UK so far, but
Well, the cliche, right? No competition, no market. There is, of course, people that are doing this. We're not the only ones. The thing that we're focusing on is, again, can we deliver the gold standard and the best proposition? And nobody knows exactly what that could look like. We have strong opinions what that should be. So we're focusing on that. We're focusing also on finding ways to grow the relevance that we have to the people that know Numan. And by doing that, and by actually being a trusted, known brand, I think we have a lot of advantages compared to the general market. And I believe those are going to continue. They're actually, in fact, going to get stronger because as we've been scaling, we've been able also to invest more and faster in the category. And I'm not just talking about awareness, but I'm talking about the work that we're doing on the product and the platform and the infrastructure. And the things that you can do today with Numan, you can't really do on any of the platforms that are in market in the UK, but also in many cases globally as well. And very soon, the things that you're gonna see how we treat patients are gonna be drastically different, because we're working on the state of the art of how you treat obesity and how you help somebody manage their weight as well.
Thank you. Any questions in the audience? Otherwise, I have another one. I think you mentioned somewhere here that you're also looking at new verticals to expand into. So can you be concrete or specific among, for one or two verticals that you think will be the, next or the near-term focus?
Sure. So hormonal health is a key area also we're investing in. Hormonal health for men, typically that is testosterone, and for women is generally kind of the hormonal imbalances as they approach and as they enter menopause as well. But again, with men, when it comes to hormonal health, there are a number of solutions that you can find when it comes to, let's say, going on a TRT protocol and doing that pretty quickly. We're building a different proposition, one that helps you understand why you may be suffering from symptoms that can be attributed to your hormonal health being not what it should be, helping you understand those and then take action to address them. And then, if appropriate, also offering you like pharmacotherapy that can help you optimize your hormones. So I believe that's fundamental. It's another hidden epidemic, if you like, that is not really understood at scale and definitely not served at scale, where we have an opportunity to take everything that we've built and create that gold standard. And then once we do that for men, the natural next step would be to do that for women too. What I'm also excited about, which is this is not a new condition, is the work that we're doing on diagnostics. And again, we're not inventing new biomarkers or anything like that. We're just making it really easy for you not to have to think about when and what you should be testing, making that frictionless, kind of invisible, and help you take a very different approach when it comes to prevention, so that we can detect risks, we can detect, where you are, let's say, suboptimal, but then crucially, because we are vertically integrated, help you take action to address them.
You mentioned M&A on one slide. Could you provide some more color on what you would be interested in, and also, like, is it companies doing similar stuff in other markets to accelerate your geographical expansion, or is it more, finding companies in adjacent verticals to bolt on to your existing offering?
So we're starting with adjacent and kind of bolt-on targets. So we're looking at companies, one, that can accelerate areas that we're interested in both kind of number of patients, but also revenue and profitability. We're looking at companies that have capabilities and IP that we don't have, especially in the way that you can treat patients. We're looking at companies that have capabilities that we may be missing or that are currently outsourcing, that can enhance our margin profile and also make the experience, again, tighter. And then when it comes to international growth, we're also very interested in companies that can help us grow Numan to be an international brand. It's faster with a lower kind of risk profile as well.
Thanks.
Thank you. It seems like there's no more questions in the audience. Thank you a lot, Socrates. And before we finish off, we're running a few minutes late. Per, some final remarks, perhaps?
Thank you, Socrates. Cheers.
No, not really. Thank you, Socrates, and all the presenters. I have enjoyed them a lot. I hope you have too. And yeah, that's all from us, folks. And now there's some drinks outside, I think. So we'll do this again, maybe in Cairo, maybe somewhere else. We'll be back on that. But thank you, everyone.